Welcome to the source. The source. Source. Hey, get the source.
Yo, what's up? Hope everyone is enjoying their Friday. Chris just joined too. All right, perfect timing. We're going to start off with, we have 4 WNBA games we're going to go through. And then we'll bring Lindy and Toast on to do the MLB and then the NFL and the college football. We got a lot. It's going to be a lot of betting action to get through. So first up, Minnesota on the road at Indiana. Wait, Caitlin Clark's home dog here?
Yeah, and they've been good in that spot, Kyle. You know, I've been talking about not wanting to fade the Fever at the crib. 4-0, straight up and against the number. Last 4 as a home dog. But I think I'm going opposite this game, Kyle. If I'm playing, I think I'm laying. I understand that they, have been beaten up on some of these teams, but and I feel super contrarian to want to fade Caitlin Clark right now in the Indiana Fever. But if there's a second hottest team, or you could kind of say both teams have only lost 1 game since the Olympic break, I think I think Minnesota, couple days rest advantage here, much better defensive team, and the overall matchup I think just stands out a little bit more in my opinion, because if there's a weakness for the Fever, it is their 3-point defense, and the Lynx like to spread you out, kind of similar to what Indiana likes to do with Caitlin Clark. But I think they got a little bit better 3-point shooters in my opinion, and they defend the 3-point line. The Minnesota Lynx do a little bit better. So I didn't play this one, but I do want to go against the world and lay the 2 right here, maybe even money line with the Minnesota Lynx, because they are the better team in my opinion.
All right, so let's go ahead. Minnesota money line right there. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is Washington at Connecticut. Another short line here. Oh, no, not Washington at Connecticut. Aces. I'm sorry, Aces at Connecticut. So Aces are short road favorites here, lane 2.
Yeah, I really want to take the Aces here, Kyle. I didn't play this game from a spread perspective, but I do want to take the Aces. The problem is they've just been beating up on the lesser competition. I think they are on a 3-game win streak, 3-game ATS streak as well. But the 3 teams that they've beaten have not been like quality teams at all. Connecticut, for what it's worth, I think they are like the second or third best home team in the WNBA as well. And they're coming off a loss to the Storm. So I stayed away from the side, even though I strong lean towards the Aces. Maybe I'll get there. But I did play first half. This was one that I kind of like did some more work on after I did my show earlier this morning. I played under. 165 is what I got it at. I think 164.5 is what is available. And I also played first half under. So when I went through it, I do think that the Aces defensively are kind of locked in now, right? You got 5-6 games left before the playoffs. And Connecticut has always played good defense. Both teams top 4 in defensive rating over the last 5 games. Connecticut being number 1. Aces also, for what it's worth, playing at the second slowest pace over the last 5 games. And we know the Sun don't play fast. They also bottom half of the league. The Suns' offense we know can struggle at times. Aces, I look at them on the road, 4-0 to the under when they're playing a team with a winning record on the road so far this season. Sun, they've been home dogs twice this season. Both of those times, they've stayed under their team total, averaging just 71.5 points per game in this spot. And then I look at the Sun. They played 5 games this season with a total of 164 or higher, 4-0-1 to the under in those games, staying under by an average of 12 points per game. And then I get into like the miscellaneous stats, the points off turnovers, the fast breaks. Both of these teams top 5 in all those categories as well. So I think points are going to be hard to come by here. I grabbed the under 165. As far as the first half under, it correlates really, really well with the full game to go under. Aces are 11-4 to the under as road favorites, 25-8 to the under overall this season. And the Sun also a team that typically go under in the first half. I think it's something like 11-4 to the under as well. So I grabbed the first half under, and I played the full game under 165, and then a 82.5 over on ESPN bet as well.
All right, so a pair of unders there. Next game. Looks like Dallas, Atlanta, another short line, 2.5. Dreams laying. Is Atlanta in the playoff spot now over the Sky?
No, they are not. But if they win and the Sky lose, which we'll talk about the Sky in a second, then they will be. Both of these teams still currently tied. And you got the Washington Mystics only a half a game behind them as well. Dallas can also still make the playoffs as well. They would need to win. It's something that they don't do too well on the road. 2-10, I think they are straight up on the road. And this was a game that I really wanted to get there on the over with. Atlanta is not the greatest offensive team. They're 10th in offensive rating over the last 5 games. And of course, we know the Wings play one way only. They go up and over because they are the fastest paced team. They are number 1 in offensive rating, and they are last in defensive rating. However, the more I looked at the game, the more I think it favors Atlanta. Couple things that really jumped out to me. Dallas, when you look at how Dallas likes to score the basketball, they score points in the paint and second chance points, right? Everything kind of comes from within because they're much bigger than pretty much every team. But when I look at Atlanta, they've been doing a pretty good job in those categories. This isn't a bad rebounding team. They're 4th in an opponent second chance points, number 2 overall in the last 5 games in points allowed in the paint. I think Tina Charles and Nas Hillman can do a pretty good job of limiting, this Wings team on the road. Playoffs say that if Atlanta wins tonight and Chicago loses, they get the control over that final spot in the play-in picture as well with about 5 or 6 games left. You add on to the fact that Atlanta, I just can't trust Dallas. Historically, one of the worst defenses we've ever seen in WNBA. 2-10 on the road straight up. I'll take Atlanta here on the money line. Atlanta on the money line minus 140.
Atlanta on the money line. All right.
That team total moved, Cal, because this total is up to 170 and a half, I think it was. And I think the team total now is like 86 and a half.
All right. So he likes Atlanta on the money line. There you go. You can see it on the screen for a second. We're about to move on to the next game. Next up is Sparks Sky. I haven't seen Chicago as a 5-point favorite in a minute.
Yeah, that's because Kennedy Carter hasn't played basketball in a minute.
Is she back?
Yeah, she's back. Yeah, she's gonna be back. First game back since COVID. She looked pretty good yesterday. They did do some interviews with her post practice. It sounds like Coach Teresa Weatherspoon had the ladies doing defensive slides because they've looked terrible. This is not a team you typically want to lay points with. Not recently. They've won 1 game since the Olympic break. And you got a Sparks team that has been covering. I think they've covered 5 of their last 6 games. However, when the Sparks are on the road, and I've said this on the show before, Kyle, they're typically getting double digits. When you look at them in their single-digit road dogs, because this is the worst team in the WNBA. This is the team that's eliminated, right? So you really need this game if you're the Sky. You're back home coming off a big loss, 19-point loss to the Aces the other day. You got your best player back, 17 and a half points, being back on the floor again. I like the under, didn't play it. And I just want to go out on a limb and take the Chicago Sky. Haven't played the game though. I do feel like they're the right side because, as I always talk about when I talk about the Sparks do this thing where they just kind of tank the game away. They play really, really hard in the first half, and then it's over, right? So I think with Chicago being able to get Kennedy Carter back, must-win game, right? And the way that they were able to come back, even in LA, this happened about 2.5 weeks ago before Kennedy Carter got hurt after the Olympic break. They were down like 9 points in the fourth quarter in LA and came back and ended up winning that game by multiple possessions. So I do think the Sky Minus, I know the books kind of outpriced it because it's hard to back a team to win by 3 possessions when they haven't won but 1 game in the last 8.
Yeah.
But I do feel like they're the right side. It's just difficult for me to get there with them. Sky minus the 5.5.
Sky minus 5. That graphic says +5, but it's -5. So it's Sky minus 5. All right. Yeah. Let's move on to some MLB. Chris, make sure you guys give him a follow. He has a YouTube channel, Chris Be Cappin with 2 N's just like that. Chris, talk to you over the weekend, man.
Absolutely. Best of luck, Kyle.
Yep. Later. Oh, my God, Toast, we're wearing the same fucking hat. We're going to look like freaks wearing the same hat, dude.
Miss?
We have the same hat on. We look like psychopaths. I told Lindy 4 o'clock, so that's 6 minutes from now. Baseball.
Seek help.
I had a winning baseball day. How do you like that? You have a Merrill shirt on?
Oh, yeah. It's Merrill Madness.
Bro, you ever see a shirt like that pop up on Instagram and you're like, who the hell would even buy that?
These don't pop up on Instagram. These are from the Players Association. Nice try, though. Come again. Thank you. Come again.
Can you zoom Toast out because you have his because of Andy yesterday and his free camera?
Yeah.
No, it's not you, Toast. It's Andy's weird ass thing.
I could zoom them out.
These aren't from Instagram. They're from the Players Association.
I'm just saying. A lot of real shitty shirts on the IG I see.
There's
a lot of shitty shirts out there. This one's sweet though.
Yo, this is RotoWear. Okay, this guy's been doing this for 7 years by himself. All my shirts are from him.
Yeah, the NFL's right after MLB. We're doing MLB first, and then the NFL. It's just
Shout out Justin.
Just one game. Patience.
Shout out Justin Tucker. 1-0 on kicker props to start the year.
Are you taking?
Also, shout out to the over. Shout out to the over. Fade, just a pure fade of the world. Like I said yesterday, over and over. Show me one person in the world with an over ticket. Couldn't find one.
It closed at 40. It closed at 47. So
free money.
Is Lindy? Oh no, we have 4 minutes. So you have a kicker prop in tonight's Brazil ship?
Nope, can't get there. Don't know enough about the conditions. Got to pass.
Why? Oh.
I did play the over 48.5. It's at 49.5 now, so we'll see what happens.
I have the over also.
Oh, nice. I think I played the over because Beaver said points anyway. I think that's what got me there. Sent me over the edge.
He did say that.
I did say that, but it's not making it to the website.
Oh, it's okay.
No, Proppy read Zay Flowers under. That was his shit last night.
Yeah, I had 2 plays on the site for last night's game. That was the game I was way more excited for, and thankfully I went 2-0 on that with Worthy under 3.5 receptions and Flowers under receiving yards, which that was a sweat at first, my lord.
I hit Rice. He was really easy.
What's up, Lindy?
Oh, the Lind dog's in here.
Lind dog's here.
Rashid Mike's might be my go-to guy for the rest of the year.
Slant Boy McGee? Yeah,
he's going to be your go-to guy.
Till I lose a bet with him, yeah.
Did Lindy just drop out right after coming in?
I mean, is this...
Oh, he said he couldn't see anybody? Yeah, he popped on the stream for a second.
This guy's an absolute pig. There he is.
There he is.
Oh, I didn't say that. Hey.
Now he's back.
I didn't have Toast up, so he was in the ether.
It's probably
been a better show.
Yeah, probably for the better. All right. It's 2 minutes early. Who cares? Let's start. MLB Friday night means we got a lot of action to get through. As you guys know, I haven't been handicapping MLB. I moved on to football about 2.5 weeks ago, so I'm just a spectator. I'm just a listener. That being said, went 2-2. Tigers money line put me in the green. It's Tigers with a grand slam in the 9th. That was awesome. So yeah, I'll be tailing a few bets. See if either of these guys say anything compelling. So Colorado on the road in Milwaukee. That's where we're starting. Frankie Montas pitching against the Rockies. Seems a little steep. Minus 238 for a Brewers team that Toast doesn't really trust.
Yeah, this is a complete pass for me. I mean, I would lean Rockies first 5 just because, just a pure price perspective. Frankie Montas shouldn't be that big of a favorite against anybody. I don't care who it is. But at the same time, it's kind of hard to get there with Colorado as well. So Ryan Felder actually hasn't been terrible on the road. His last 3 road starts. I mean, it's 6 innings, 3 runs against LA, 4 innings, 3. I mean, it's not great. But like I said, Frankie Montas shouldn't be that big of a favorite against anybody. But like I said, I passed.
Lindy?
Yeah, I think we got to look at it through a different lens. Like Colorado, it's out of Coors, and that's always kind of one of the things you look at where offensively you're basically just looking at home road splits. They're one of the worst road teams, obviously, because they're one of the worst teams in baseball. But everything you just said about Frankie Montas, I mean, that's kind of the thing I'm mad about. sometimes it's not even the bets that lose. It's the bets that I don't place that I know are grading out well for me. I didn't pull the trigger once it got to plus 235 on the money line yesterday, going up against Reynaldo Lopez, somebody who had a 2 ERA where you expect regression. Frankie Montas didn't know really what Milwaukee saw in him that they really wanted to go get. And I think this is just basically a Colorado sitting there plus 1.5, minus 108 over on DraftKings. You could go to the run line there. You could go to team total in Colorado. I think that was sitting at 2.5 earlier today. I'll double check, but I'll take Colorado plus 1.5, minus 108. Frankie Montas getting a lot of respect here with this number. And Ryan Feltner, I still kind of like the stuff. It's so tough because like Ryan Feltner should be better than what he's been. He limits walks, he limits barrels, he limits hard contact. And we know that Milwaukee's just routinely outperformed their metrics against right-handed pitching. And I get all that, but like Ryan Feltner's okay, isn't he, Toast?
I really do. I really think that he's fine. I mean, I don't really put too much into the Baltimore start that he had at home. I mean, I think that he's much better than people give him credit for, especially considering half of his home starts are in Colorado. I mean, you know what I mean? So not to mention the fact that, I mean, he's faced this Brewers team twice in the last 2 years and 10 and a third innings, only 3 runs, only a couple walks. So it's not like he's going to be walking in there worried about this lineup that has a good history against him or anything like that. So, yeah, I actually think that Rockies' first 5 money line might end up being a play for me the more I look at it.
Yeah, I think plus 108, plus 1.5, minus 108 ends up being a play for me today. I was really about Colorado yesterday and I didn't pull the trigger and I'm still so frustrated about it. So now that I'm going to bet the plus 1.5, congratulations, Milwaukee 10-0.
I said I was looking for bets to tail. I'm not tailing either of these. Just want the world to know I'm not touching that. Next game, though, what's going on with the price here? Plus 140 to fade the Pirates. I mean, I guess DJ Hurts has fallen off. I haven't looked at any of his stuff.
Plus 140? What are you talking about?
Did someone just type the wrong odds into the graphic? I think that's probably what
I mean, I played Pittsburgh, but I got him at minus 115. There's no way it moved like that.
So it's minus 115. I don't know. So someone typed the wrong graphic in.
My bad, folks.
No, you're good. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing something. It wasn't move. I mean,
so that's the wrong graphic. It's minus 115 for the Pirates. It's close to a pick 'em, which makes sense. Pirates bullpen in this situation here. Wentz. They still have Holderman and Bednar though. They're never mind. They have their main arms. Maybe some of the long relievers they're missing. But yeah, this one's close to a pick.
I'd more worry about Santana. I don't care about Bednar. I care about Santana, but that's personal. That's a personal thing. But Bednar's terrible. So as long as if he's down, that's probably a good thing. I want Chapman. I want Santana. I actually don't mind me some Jalen Beeks, to be honest with you either. But I played Pittsburgh on the money line. I'm going to continue to find ways to fade this Washington team as much as possible, especially after that Yankees series. I think that was kind of what the best that you're going to see from them as far as going on to the rest of the year. I'm not saying that they're not going to win another game, obviously, but I just feel like that was like the peak of what you're going to see from the Washington Nationals this year. And on the other side, Pittsburgh, on the other hand, starting to play decent against the Cubs. Won a huge game yesterday as well. And I just don't really think that the offense is really going to slow down. They've scored 5 runs or more in 3 of their last 4 games. They had that no-hitter against Chicago, and they came back yesterday without a day off at home and scored 9 runs. And Ortiz is a guy I trust. I know that he had a bumpy couple starts, and I know that he hasn't given up a run in a couple games. And I know that I always say, like, it's only a matter of time before they give up runs. But I still think that he can give up 2 or 3 runs here today and Pittsburgh be fine. DJ Hurts is not a guy that I trust at all. He has a huge control issue, and if he's not getting a whole bunch of swing and misses, it's going to be a long day for him. So, and I also think that the Washington bullpen is just absolutely terrible, which everybody already knows that. So, even though that there is a little bit of concerns with the Pittsburgh bullpen with them working, I still think there's too many advantages for Pittsburgh here today.
Lindy?
0 things, 0 notes, 0 bets, 0 discussion.
Zero.
I mean, we're going to see some really debaucherous things here as we get down to the end of the year with some teams that have nothing to play for. I do think Washington at least has things to play for with their profile going forward, with Cruz, with some of the young talent that they have. I think that they're going to be better than most people next season. I think that they could go out and actually spend some money and potentially build around some of these some of these pieces. They have a couple of arms in AAA, AA that I think are at least intriguing. As you work through that, you can go to roster resource on Fangraphs and kind of build through some of those. And there's at least some touted arms that are still waiting in the wings. Not necessarily many bats waiting because they brought them all up now, but they're going to get some experience here and they're going to stay in the lineups, and you're not going to get shorted on plate appearances. Whereas, teams like Texas, you're going to see weird, Adolis Garcia could get pinch hit for after 3 at-bats this time of year. Like, there's things that are going to happen that just suck, and you have to be aware of that. I think for me, looking at some of the vets on the Pittsburgh side, like, I don't have crazy concerns for that. I do think Luis Ortiz gives up tons of power. I came on this program, put Corey Seager 2 home runs out there. That was against Luis Ortiz. I'm always looking at lefty power. Luis Garcia is at least appealing, but some of the numbers ended up just being ridiculous. So I'm passing on this game altogether.
Yeah, I'm good on this one too.
Washington's going to be, I think, could be really, really good, especially when they have the Strasburg money and the Corbin money coming off the books. I mean, they're going to feel like they're loaded with a whole bunch of talent already on the roster.
They play in the most difficult division in the sport, though.
Yeah, and they have a World Series ring, and you guys don't in the last 20 years.
They sure do.
What is the last 20 years? What?
When you mean you're talking about their division being so hard, they've played better in that division than the Mets have.
I'm talking about the division right now.
And I still like the Nationals just as good as the
what the division was doing 10 years ago is irrelevant.
Well, you kind of took a shot at the Nationals like they've been terrible, like they couldn't do anything in that division, and they've been more successful
right now. No, they can't do anything right now. Rays Baltimore plus 127 minus 152. Dean Kramer is a minus 152 favorite.
Yeah, get the heck out of here.
No, looks like
this is like the easiest pass for me in the world.
I again, these are 2 games that I have absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of other plays, but for me too.
Leaning towards the under, but
I was just gonna say
absolutely nothing. Yep, the under looks okay, but it's like negative 2% EV for me, so it's still not a good play. Still not something you should be firing up. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I'm down with skipping this one. Because I was like under, I was thinking under 2, but then it's the highest on run index for Ballpark Pal. I'm good.
Just really quickly, if you guys are trying to figure out, I mean, I will give you that Kramer has a decent success against the Rays in his last couple. Last year, he faced them twice, went 11 innings, only giving up 1 run. So I also don't think that Kramer's as bad as what he's shown his last 2 starts, one at home at Houston, and then on the road at Colorado. His previous starts before that were somewhat decent, but at the price, there's just no way you can trust him.
All right, next game. Phillies Marlins. All right, Zach Wheeler. There's one team that gives him problems, man. It's the damn Fish. Is it worth plus 190 taking a shot on the Fish?
No.
I played the Fish plus 205. So go ahead, Lindy.
I'm on the run line for Philly. This is as square of a play as you'll find. Square peg, square hole. You're going into one of the. I know that there's some weird stuff going on in Miami with some totals, and this has more to do, I think, with just like having terrible bullpens facing off and just giving up hits, and balls are getting hit hard. I don't think it has anything to do with the park factors, why we're seeing some more overs over the last month here. But I am firmly on the side of Philadelphia here. This is another spot where I should have bet it yesterday. I think Adam Oller did a good enough job of making me feel like I was okay not firing up Philly on the run line yesterday until he got incinerated in that 6th inning, but probably shouldn't have been pitching into that 6th inning as is. Philadelphia, we're seeing some pieces come together at the right time. We're starting to get into that stretch where it's a tough division and it's going to be a crazy NL. And we still are waiting on this lineup for what it's worth. I'm not sure if that means Bryce Harper could potentially be sitting or not. I think that would keep me away from this if you were to look at it after the fact. But hey,
no problem either.
Philadelphia. Yeah, I mean, Philadelphia, I'm already on it, so I can't really do anything about it right now. I think minus 132 is the number that I got yesterday. It's sitting minus 134, so it's all like 2 cents. Obviously, that would be not fun with Bryce Harper being out with Edward Cabrera in there, but otherwise, just he should get completely incinerated against good lefties, and there are a number of them, and now power in the back half with Marsh, Clemens. I'm probably going to recommend still playing it.
Wow, you guys are on the opposite sides of this one. What do you guys think of maybe a Marlins team total over 2.5 at plus 100? 3 runs? Phillies
Not
bullpen?
against Wheeler. I wouldn't do it.
Dude, he sucks against the Marlins, though.
That was the other play I was going to make, Kyle. I was kind of trying to figuring it out. It was either Marlins team total over 2.5 or Marlins money line. And I just landed on the Marlins.
How can you compare anything with this Marlins lineup now to like he sucks against the Marlins lineup? Xavier Edwards wasn't there. Connor Norby wasn't there.
I'm seeing a Marlins
lineup.
I'm seeing a Marlins lineup.
Wasn't there. Kyle Stowers wasn't there. That's like 6 guys right off the top of my head that are not in that lineup.
I'm seeing a Marlins lineup over the last 2 weeks. It's got a 119 WRC plus, the 7th highest OPS in that span, 3rd lowest strikeout rate. Fluky or not, it is what it is. They haven't been doing lefties, or they haven't been hitting lefties, but I'm just at a spot where I don't really, I think that this total tells me a lot. I think that a total sitting at 7 tells me a lot. Cabrera has pitched well in his career against Philadelphia. And Wheeler's had struggles. So yeah, I actually think that the bats are just fine. And honestly, if you're going to take out Bohm and there's a possibility that Harper doesn't play, I mean, who's doing anything for Philadelphia besides Kyle Schwarber? If Kyle Schwarber goes out there and hits 3 home runs, then you guys can have your money. Like, I don't care. But at the same time, like, that's really what their offense has been the last couple of days. So if Kyle Schwarber's not hitting home runs, I really don't worry about the Phillies offense as they're constructed right now. So at plus 205, I took my chance with the pitch.
Let's draft the hitters from both teams right now in snake style.
You could do that over the last.
How many batters are you taking from Miami before you get to Philadelphia?
Okay, that's fine. But we can do that. Last year, and Miami won 7 out of 6 games, or 7 out of 13 games against Miami, and they're 4-6 this year. So over the you could do that. Really, play that game the last 2 years, and Miami's been just fine against Philadelphia. So
Jake Berger, first overall pick.
I was waiting for it. I wanted Toast to do it so bad, so I could just be like, ugh. But anyway, I get where you're coming at. Again, for me, I'm not going to some crazy, minus 200 type-ish money line in a low variance ballpark. I'm going to the run line for a reason. Bring down a little bit of the variance. I think the number of times that Edward Cabrera goes out and gets shelled in this game are about as many times as he's successful, and I think that is enough for me to just go to the run line and feel okay about it.
I want to side with one of you. I want to get in on this head-to-head battle, but I'm not betting this. I'm good.
Philly by 1 now. That's the way to play the middle.
I know, that's just the worst, yeah.
Next up. White Sox, Red Sox. Oh, God.
Somebody stop me from betting the White Sox in the first 5, please.
I have a homer. I might actually dip into the double home run with this guy.
Ooh.
I'm very convinced Andrew Vaughn is the best home run player.
Oh my God.
Today. Andrew Vaughn is
I really wanted to play White Sox.
So let's talk through this one because I think this is probably my favorite play of the day. I was a little bit surprised to see in this ballpark in Boston. I know the wind's blowing in, but we're talking about pull hitting off of Nick Pivetta, who gives up crazy hard contact. He also strikes out a lot of dudes, but Andrew Vaughn, 21.7% K rate, 17-degree launch angle, green monster. If you loft it, if you put loft on it, it plays shorter for righty power that hit the ball in the air. That's why Vlad, it was fun to see him hit a couple of high towering bombs finally. But generally speaking, you're hitting doubles into that wall routinely as somebody who has power to left. And that's what Andrew Vaughn does. 17-degree launch angle, looking through the expected numbers for Mr. Nick Pivetta this season against righties. 208 expected ISO, 243 actual ISO with a 22-degree launch angle. Andrew Vaughn is just primed in this spot. Best available number, plus 625 over at BetMGM. That was my first click of the day.
I mean, I'm always down to fade Pivetta in Fenway.
Yep.
Dude's been a fade there for eons. Are you actually going to do it, Toast?
I think that if Lindy really likes him, I think the team total would probably be a better route. You can get White Sox first 5 team total over 1.5 at plus 114. or you could go White Sox full game team total over 3.5. Yeah, I don't really love that. I'd rather have 2.5. But yeah, anyway, at 1.5, or White Sox first 5 money line. First and foremost, I've been saying this for 2 or 3 weeks now, that the Red Sox lineup is deader than dead, and they can just continue to prove me right over and over and over again. I mean, they looked they had that one good game against Detroit where I bet on them on the money line, first game after looking like shit on a homestand, a spot that I love to bet. And then since that game, 1 run, 2 runs, 3 runs. Boston's dead, and they're really bad at home too. I mean, they're 31-38 at home. Like, this team doesn't play good at home. Nick Pivetta doesn't pitch well at home. And Davis Martin, I mean, yes, he got hit up by the Mets his last start, but he looked decent against Detroit. And again, I keep on saying this, like, Detroit isn't some pushover team right now. So if you're playing Detroit in the last 2 or 3 weeks and pitching well against them, that's a solid start to me. He was okay on the road in San Francisco, nothing special, but he pitched well against the Yankees. Like, I just don't have this feeling that Davis Martin's going to walk into Fenway today and be scared of this Boston lineup that's doing diddly-poo and has done diddly-poo at home all year. So I think the price is absolutely insane.
Are we a 1930s barbershop? What are we doing?
He likes diddly poo now.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah, like I said, White Sox first 5 team total over 1.5. White Sox first 5 money line plus 195 or whatever it is.
I want White Sox money line, man. I'm writing it down as a maybe. If I can't find bets that I like, maybe I'll just put that down, do some gambling. Red Sox bats are dead, and Pivetta can't pitch in Fenway. Plus 232.
Lindy, do this shit for fun. Nobody betting $10 on PropSpo. People straight betting some good money. Ty Lee, let me just tell you, prop betting.
Wait, what would that?
I'm pretty okay at it. So I'm going to keep doing it because I do like making money. And I would recommend you tail that as opposed to betting things with 2-3% edges every single day. Because over a long period of time, I'm going to win you a lot more money with props. It's just what it is.
I think the best strategy is to continuously bet the White Sox because it shows determination. Next game.
I think
builds character.
Yeah, it does. You want to learn about yourself, grow up a little bit, bet the White Sox for 3 straight weeks.
Or start doing heroin. Those are your 2 options.
Those 2 are actually correlated.
They are correlated, highly correlated. It's not a Venn diagram. It's just a big circle,
yep.
the overlap.
All right. Grimace.
Oh yeah.
Mets minus 1.5.
I did first 5. I did Mets first 5 run line minus 115.
Is it not? Is it Manaea pitching?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Katana. It's Manaea.
I like the over.
You like the Reds against a lefty?
Should do. This lefty.
Manaea's good, man.
Please.
But we're starting to get into, again, Sean Manaea. Like, where's the truth? It's somewhere in the middle, right? Like, he's pitched well of late, no doubt about it. Like, you go through, he mowed down the White Sox. He had 11 strikeouts against Arizona, one of the hottest offenses in baseball. He had 9 against Baltimore. But, you talk about all of these things. He was giving up 3 earned in 4 straight before it. And I think people are just kind of getting allured by the strikeouts. This number just feels weird to me. I've got it like 0.7 off in terms of expected runs, and I don't see myself. I continue to be betting it at these numbers. I get it. I think the truth is just somewhere in the middle. Plus, I do get that range of outcomes where Fernando Cruz, followed by some of these other dudes that are potentially going to be coming in for this baseball game, just get completely hammered. Jake Junis should be taking up most of these pitches. He got up to 62 pitches against Milwaukee, but as you start to extend Jacob Junis, we know who he is. Like, he's been a bullpen arm for them constantly here, but not been a starter for a reason, because as you start to increase his workload, he's not going to look nearly as good against Grimace Mets. And for me, I like the over.
I don't mind an over, but yeah, I played Mets first 5 run line. I wanted to fade Cincinnati, especially coming off of that 4 games where they beat my Milwaukee in overtime. Jesus, Milwaukee in extra innings, and then 3 straight wins against Houston. That win on Thursday was pretty impressive, but the chances that I think that their pitching staff can do something like that again, and I'll shout out Rhett Lauder's pretty damn good himself, but I just have a hard time believe they come in here into New York against Manaea, who, I mean, I don't know about his strikeouts and stuff like that, but regardless of the 3 earned runs, I'm seeing he's going 6 2/3, 7 innings almost every goddamn start that he's making. And so if you're going to give me that quality, and he already pitched against this Cincinnati team earlier this year, went 5 1/3 in Great America Small Park, only gave up 1 run. Cincinnati had to travel yesterday as well. I mean, it's not like it's a big travel spot, but I mean, Grimace is just on an absolute tear right now. 8-2 their last 10, 14-6 their last 20. I have no reason to fade the Mets right now.
I'm a little worried about the Mets bats. I used to, a couple of years ago, I'd be like, bullpen day, let's take them. But now bullpen days can be tricky, and sometimes I even like them better. They don't really get to see a pitcher the second time through the order.
Traditionally, I like bullpen games more for teams, depending on the team.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
This is definitely not that case, I think, where, I mean, at least we have the wind blowing out, 75-ish. I mean, 70% humidity is nifty, but yeah, the wind direction is kind of just sending me a little bit more towards, because like you can do specific wind direction at a specific stadium and kind of like go through projected runs for it. With the wind blowing out almost 10 miles per hour there, sustained, I feel pretty good about an over still with some of the bats, especially the Mets side. I obviously feel better about the Mets side against the Cincy bullpen, but again, it always depends on the bullpen.
Give me Mets -1.5.
I mean, I honestly feel like if the Mets don't get a couple runs off of a combination of Jacob Junis, Carson Spears, maybe Buck Farmer, maybe Suter, like, I mean, it is what it is.
All right, let's move on to the next one. What does that say? Blue Jays, Braves, Max Fried, Gausman.
Curious where Lindy thinks of this one. I have 2 plays in this game.
2?
I had to just make a mom joke in chat. Sorry. Which game are we talking about?
Braves, Blue Jays.
Toronto.
Okay. If you guys want to enjoy that, go ahead. What do I have on this one? Toronto. I have nothing on this. I'm leaning towards Atlanta. I hate leaning towards Atlanta with it, but I think Max Fried's just better than Kevin Gausman. Kevin Gausman's had a terrible year. I'm thinking he wants to turn the page on it. The splitter isn't splitting. That's not helpful for one of the guys who had the best pitch in baseball for a year and a half of my modeling for him. 467 expected slugging, 42.1% hard hit. Atlanta bats getting Michael Harrison, finding the corpse of Whit Merrifield and rejuvenating him somehow, some way. Jorge Soler batting 5th. I think that's a better spot for him where you can at least achieve some sustained upside on any type of long ball if he can get hot. Jared Kelenic, one of the better 7-hole hitters you have in baseball now at this point. I don't know what to say other than like I think Atlanta's the preferred side, but that's more of like a no ball take, and I want to go to the math of it, and I don't really like the math of it.
Toast, do you like the math of it?
I do love the math of it.
Okay.
Toronto first 5 money line, Toronto money line. I split them both up. I mean, the splitter might not be splitting for Mr. Gausman, but I'm looking over his. I mean, you take that Yankees start away. He looked really good against Baltimore, looked good against the Angels, didn't look decent against the Reds. But I mean, I felt like that was kind of a blip in the radar because he came right back out his next 2 starts and looked just fine. And Max Fried is a guy that I would actually. Personally, I would trust Kevin Gausman right now more than Max Fried personally. So I just thought this number was kind of crazy, not to mention I love the spot for the Blue Jays after just getting completely embarrassed at home by the Phillies and now getting on the road here. A Jays team that's on the road, by the way, the last 30 days, a top 10 lineup in baseball. Again, I just think that this number is completely off. I get that the Braves have been playing better baseball. I'm well aware of that. But at the same time, it's not like they're scoring a whole bunch of runs. And they also played Colorado at 3 games, just now 3 games ago, or the last 3 games. And I don't really think they looked that great. So they won 3-0, 5-2, and then they lost 1-3 with Lopez on the mound. I'm just not in a spot where I feel like Atlanta's playing great baseball to be this huge of a favorite against a Toronto team that would love to come play some spoiler here down the stretch. So I'll take my chances with the big plus price in Toronto. I split my money in half, though.
Braves coming off an ugly loss, too, though. Put up Blue Jays money line. I mean, It's
Yeah,
disgusting.
that's the feeling of your sphincter sphincting. You don't like it. I
I don't like when it
Yeah.
shrinks.
It doesn't. It's not good.
All right, next game. I put that on the list, but Angels, Rangers, Garavito against Alda. I don't know. Go ahead, guys.
That's so perfect for September baseball. Two teams that have no desire to win baseball games. I have a desire to bet Wyatt Langford batting second now, plus 500. He's starting to loft the baseball, and he gets to go up against a lefty that nobody can pronounce the name of, so that's fun. Al DeGarry, he is not very good. He was not good in AA, didn't even show up there. He is the number 8 prospect for this baseball team, so, I mean, he has some type of pedigree, but I watched a lot of that start he had up against the Mariners, and he was lucky to only give up it wasn't even 7 earned. It was 7 runs total, 2 earned because there was an error that occurred in the middle of it. It was just egregious to watch. He is bad. You go through some of his numbers with the Rocket City Trash Pandas and the Jersey Shore Blue Claws. Fantastic names for what it's worth. Never pitched in high A until recently. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you don't go from AAA. He didn't pitch in AAA. I'm saying you go from AA to the big leagues. And now I just want to take the big league bats against you. And Wyatt Langford's starting to putting together a really nice September here in a short couple of days. They've got him up batting second. Bochy has some faith in him and just kind of like continues to let him go out and play. He's making great catches in the outfield, build some confidence for next year. Plus 500, I like it.
Toast? It's a pure pass for me. I really wanted to bet the Angels just because I don't think that Texas is that good at all. But it is what it is. I'm more sad that I lost my Angels bet yesterday because of one Adolis Garcia swing for once in his life. He made contact. Congratulations, Adolis.
Yeah. Congrats.
It's a pure pass for me.
All right, next game.
Who's Sandro Fabian? I've never even heard of him. He's batting 7th for them today.
What?
What's a Sandro Fabian?
What is that?
I don't know. I don't even know who. I don't even know who Justin Fose.
Because I'm Fose. I'm the first girl to scream.
Damn. Who the hell is on this team now? Oh my god.
Yeah, that was the schvinkting again. It's not good. I don't know who Sandro Fabian is, and I do this for a living. So there you go.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I've never seen that name before. That feels weird.
Framber deals here or no?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Definitely.
So you go.
Astros,
You going?
I did
Astros
Astros for 5-run line. That's what I did.
I will probably end up taking the under, but I have enough unders, and everybody just loves to join a Discord and hang out and bet a bunch of unders with me. But here we are. I like the under.
American Greenbacks, right?
Dude, Framber's been so goddamn good.
Yep.
I told you, Framber's back. He's back.
He'll blow in the playoffs.
I feel like both times that Coach and I said somebody was back, they've been back. Blake Snell, Chris Sale, and now we're back here with Framber.
This price is off though, man.
I don't know. Maybe now. Maybe it's gotten to the point where now it's a little bit crazy. What is it now? 170. Yes, it's.
I mean, we're polling Arizona. Everyone's betting the Snakes on this, but Framber Valdez.
It's because they're getting the Snakes at plus money. They're forgetting the fact that the Snakes did look like garbage yesterday, and to be honest, they got pretty damn lucky the start before that in the Birdsong start. I mean, they literally scored. I mean, Birdsong had 17 walks, and they scored 2 runs in that against him. I mean, they really didn't do much, and then they came out later. Like, I don't even really think that this Arizona offense is really as hot as people make it out to be. I right now, that series against San Francisco, their bats look pretty dead to me. I think they were aided by extremely bad pitching. I'm not trying to say they didn't look good in LA and against the Mets or whatever. Yes, but as far as the last 3 nights in San Francisco, I've watched every single out of those games. And again, I just don't feel like that Arizona. I think it was aided by a lot of really, really bad San Francisco pitching. You're not going to get that this or today here with Framber Valdez, who, like we've just talked about, is completely back. Last couple home starts against the Royals, White Sox, and Dodgers, he looked completely completely good against. He had one bad start, I guess, against Pittsburgh, where he gave up 4 runs. I'm sorry, Jesus Christ, 4 runs in 6 innings, but he struck out 10 guys. So Astros just got absolutely embarrassed in Cincinnati. Now they're back at home where they've played much better this year. I like the Astros to come back in this one. I wouldn't pay minus 180 though. Now that's absolutely ridiculous.
I kind of like the Snakes at this price, but
Yeah,
I mean, they have gotten to some lefties recently. Fott's been pretty good. Fott also has nice numbers.
He hasn't. He's been freaking terrible. So
he's been fine. What are you talking
really?
about?
Please pull up his game logs and let's find out when the last time Brandon Fott looks good. Let's do that. Let's play the game.
At Cleveland, August 7th. Solid. The August 12th is a decent start. He had 3 bad starts in a row.
8 hits, 4 runs to the Rockies at home.
All right, watch him throw 6 shutout today. Next.
I'm just saying that Brandon Fott is not pitching well right now. That's all.
3 bad starts. Oh, Twinkies. Z Matthews on the mound. Don't get me started on Z Matthews.
It's not very good.
Lindy, the Twins fan, are you a fan of Z Matthews?
I mean, he's been better than I expected him to be. He's 24. He's a young arm that we've had for a while. He's very good at, going through minors, pretty decent at limiting some of the walks across the board. Just ridiculous stuff. I mean, look at this. He's pitched 45 and 51 2/3 innings over the course of his minor league career. He has a grand total of 7 walks. That's insanity. That's actually insanity.
Someone in the comments saying, considering the Razorbacks is crazy in itself. That's a separate topic, but I do think Arkansas plus 7.5 is a sharp look. But we were talking about the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, it's a different one. Different one.
Different back.
That went so over my head. It's not even funny.
He said, I think he just submitted a typo. He said Razorbacks.
Oh.
He's talking about the Hogs. Toast, do you like Z Matthews or not?
I don't really have a problem with Zebby. I think that his last start against Toronto was more of an outlier than anything. I personally, I think that if you have somebody that pitches 4 starts at the major league level and only walks 2 guys, that's a solid starting point for sure. I don't understand this price at all. I don't understand it. I kind of want to get to Minnesota. I was kind of waiting to see what.
Wait, whoa! What are you saying the price should be?
It should be closer to a coin flip. I got to see the Minnesota lineup.
Yeah.
It's
the Royals.
Nervous that we don't have the lineup yet because normally Minnesota is one of the first teams to get their lineups in. We have Michael Hellman up now as an outfielder potentially, and that is just problematic.
Well, it's that and the fact that freaking Austin Martin might be playing center field.
Exactly.
At some point, it's
bad.
Yeah.
It's the Royals at home with a significant start. Oh, hold on.
Right now.
The Royals at home with a significant starting pitching advantage. The Twins also had to travel in. The Royals had the day off.
How 3-hour flight?
Oh my god.
Oh no.
I'm saying
The price looks right to me.
Tampa Bay to Kansas City. It doesn't look right to me. Cole Reagan. Look, for me, I can't play Minnesota until I see a lineup because it's really hard to get behind this lineup when you have the bottom half of this lineup with Brooks Lee, Kyle Farmer, Vasquez, Hellman, and Martin. It's really hard to back that lineup. But there's a huge but behind this. Why is the Royals, who are 3-7 their last 10, 10-10 their last 20, 14-16 their last 30? I mean, they've been playing like not good baseball for a while. They're dealing with a whole bunch of injuries. I mean, their lineup is pretty damn bad themselves. I mean, I understand that Cole Reagan's on the mound, but Cole Reagan's, I mean, his last 3 home starts, he's been absolutely throttled by the Cubs, the Cubs, the Angels, and the Red Sox. So I'm not in a position where I'm like, oh my God, there's Cole Reagan's at home. He should pitch well. It's like the exact opposite. And then if you flip and take a look at the lefty starters that Minnesota has faced, they've put 4 off of Tyler Alexander. Chris Sale and Max Fried pitched well against them. They got 3 off of Martin Perez, 4 off of Heaney, 2 off of Bradford, and Bradford's been pitching well. And then, oh, by the way, they just saw Cole Reagan's. This is going to be the 4th time that they've seen Cole Reagan's this year. I personally feel like all the value in the world is on Minnesota at this price. I had this at minus 115, minus 110 on each side, whatever. I have this more of a coin flip. So to get them at plus 120 or whatever, it's all Minnesota for me.
So you're trusting Z Matthews?
Against the Royals, yes.
I think this is a spot to bet the Royals, Lindy.
Yeah, I'm looking at Cole Reagan's over 6.5 strikeouts. It's -138. Some people, make it a parlay piece for something else if you really want to. That's the only thing I'm really entertaining from this game at the moment. But I have to see the Minnesota lineup. There's just so many iterations of it where if Santana's leading off, I hate it. I wouldn't be happy with this bet. Again, this is one of those things for like night before coming into today. I think that there's certain iterations of this Minnesota lineup that look really, really good. Wind is blowing in 10 miles per hour, brings down the variance of the game. I think that helps out with some of the issues we've seen for Cole Reagan's, where now we're starting to see a little bit more hard hit creeping into the repertoire. Hasn't been pitching as deep into games. Maybe they're trying to limit him before they come to the postseason, or you got to win baseball games if you're Kansas City, Cleveland, Minnesota. You got to just keep going at it in this division. And this is obviously a gigantic game for both teams. They would like to get some length, I would think, out of Cole Reagan's, but they also want to keep Cole Reagan's fresh to some extent. And 3 straight sub-100 pitch games. Feel like we're waiting on that like big one from Cole Reagan's. He's got the kind of stuff for it. And if this Minnesota lineup is as brutal as it could potentially look, I think those 6.5 strikeouts are there, but I don't want to back either team at these kind of prices.
Let's move on to the next game. I've had enough of Z Matthews.
Z Matthews. If your name's Zebby, that's...
Bryce Thriller. Fetty at home. Ugh.
Worst game on the board, not close. Hate it.
It's not close, he says.
Just what do you do with this toast? What do you actually do?
Bet St. Louis.
At all.
Oh,
you don't. You bet St. Louis here.
Yeah,
Fetty's been nice at home. The Mariners used all their bullpen arms. They traveled in. You bet the Cards.
I know. See, St. Louis coming off of a 6-game road trip where they played well against the Yankees and well against a division rival, Minnesota or Milwaukee, and back-to-back extra inning games. Yeah, St. Louis is in a fantastic spot today. You're right.
I agree.
So, I played Seattle. I think that they have a pitching advantage with Bryce Miller on the mound. I don't really trust Eric Fetty at all. This play makes me disgusting. This is so disgusting. But I hate the spot for St. Louis, a team that's barely over 500 at home, coming home from a road trip where they looked extremely good against New York and Milwaukee. I think that Seattle has a pitching advantage, and the Seattle bats the last couple nights have started to come around, especially with the long ball, which is a very good sign for them. Again, they're probably going to come out and put a 0 up now that I've talked about it. That's just how this show works. But again, I do feel like Seattle has the advantages. I don't really worry about Seattle's bullpen because a lot of those major guys have had multiple days off. Munoz looked not good again last night. But again, it is what it is. But I think that Seattle is the side here today. I did play them.
All right, so I added Cardinals. I might bet Cardinals. I'm down to fade Mariners. I do like Bryce Thriller though. Next up. Tigers, Oakland. Oh, Scooby. Scooby's pitching.
Yep.
Let me guess.
Scooby snacks.
You guys want to go Oakland?
Yeah, sure do.
I played Tigers first 5 online.
Oh, that's fine. If I had to do anything, I'd be going Oakland. Oakland, it looks better and better and better the more I keep thinking about it. He's locked up the Cy Young. He can't do anything that could potentially, because even if he starts, walks the first 3 or 4, they'll just pull him out of the game where it's like, all right, don't want to hurt your ERA, don't want to do anything. He's going to get the red carpet treatment the rest of the way in. So if he's pitching well, he's just going to keep pitching. If he's not, they're going to probably pull him out of the game sooner rather than later. And Detroit's bullpen's been really, really good. Sneaky, again, just another sneaky spot in this division for Detroit. But I think Oakland still playing all their main dudes, still doing everything they can to continue to, to the bitter end here in Oakland before they go to Sacramento. That'll be fun. That ballpark is so small. Get ready, people. But
dude, I cannot wait.
It's going to be 110 in Sacramento.
All over again.
We're going to see 13.5 total.
Oh, I know. It's going to be like Dunedin all over again.
I can't wait. But until that day when Brent Rooker hits 60 home runs in Oakland, I'm just looking at Oakland money line or pass.
Yeah, Oakland up, bro. Scooby, I like what Lindy said about Scooby.
Yeah, Yeah, Tigers first 5 run line for me. It's probably unplayable now at this price. Yeah, it's unplayable now. But I think that he pitches just fine here today. I don't really want to deal with the later innings because Tigers did play extra innings or late game yesterday, and they used multiple bullpen arms. But yeah, I think the Tigers have a huge advantage in this first 5. Like I said, the Tigers have been playing really good baseball over the last 30 days or so. So they're not a team that I look at as a straight fade at all.
All right, we got 2 more baseball games, and then we're doing the NFL game if you guys want to hang out for the NFL. Toast hit a kicker prop last night. He thinks his shit's
Toast
sweet.
went 3-0 yesterday.
6.5
over
kicking
yards.
points. Overs.
I do field goal. I don't like to do the kicking. I don't like to do the points because you have to trust people like Lamar Jackson to score points. I trust.
Dude, what was with the Lamar Jackson hate, man?
It's not me. I don't hate Lamar Jackson. I was just going off of last night. They didn't score, and then I wouldn't have won a kicking points if I wouldn't have played that. That's all I'm saying. I have nothing against Lamar Jackson.
Wow, you hate him.
Could care less about Lamar Jackson.
All
Matter
right.
of fact, I think he got unlucky.
It's M. King versus M. Black here. Giants, Padres. Michael King is a guy I like to fade, but Toast is a big fan.
Great night to fade him.
Really? You're being serious?
Yeah. You want to tell Uncle Kyle we're going to take the Giants because the Padres bullpen is so taxed on Bolivian it's not even
Hold
funny?
on. It was taxed yesterday. That's why we took the Tigers.
Goddamn idiots used them again, and they lost the game.
Oh,
Look at
my
that
God.
shit.
Giants up.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing, Mike?
Lindy,
What
are you
doing?
with us?
Lindy,
No.
are you with us?
Come on,
I'm
Lindy.
taking homers.
Come on, we
Give me
just
the lefty
taxed
homers.
Giants last
Lefty
night.
homers. Jake Cronenworth and Jackson Merrill going yard.
But Lindy,
God.
we were going to all together have fun. And
This was whatever.
Oh,
Did you not
it
get
would
the
have
memo,
been
Lindy?
so adorable. But then
Lindy,
why
what's
does
the
Mason
refresh?
Black have a 310 expected ISO and 150 pitches against lefties? Because that's the highest model mark that I have for anybody. We've talked about this how many times on the show where Petco has been playing small for wind direction, whatever the hell is going on with his ballpark. Completely different in 2024 as far as home runs go. And this guy is just giving up crazy contact to lefties. 22.5-degree launch angle, 310 expected ISO, 289 actual ISO. Everything as far as my hit metrics that I care about the most for home runs. I looked at Profar, but 169 expected ISO, not as fun. Jake Cronenworth just smashes righties. 211 expected ISO, 14.5-degree launch angle, 15 homers against. And your boy Jackson Merrill, 17 homers now again. I'm just crushing righties. 266 expected ISO. He is the best 7-hole hitter. Those are just ridiculous numbers. I'm getting plus 575 in a ballpark that's been like number 4 in baseball for home runs. What are we doing? Like, I'll do this. Yeah.
I agree.
I just bet the Giants. I'm in. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I got plus 180.
Oh, man.
I'm on the Giants as well. Not trying to make a case that I think that Mason Black is good or even at the same level at Michael King. We all know that Michael King is absolutely fantastic. But this will be the 3rd time that San Francisco's seeing Mr. King this year, and we can't pull it up on the screen right now, but the Padres bullpen is absolutely taxed among Bolivians. Suarez, Scott, and Adam have all worked 4 of the last 5 days.
Crazy.
Not
That's wild.
3 of the last 4, not 2 out of the 3,
Wild.
4 of the last 5 days. Oh, and by the way, Jeremy Estrada's worked back-to-back nights as well. It's just an absolute horror show. So Michael King might go 5 or 6 or 6 or 7 innings here. Maybe. I doubt it, but maybe. But we're going to have multiple shots at that Padres bullpen. And that's the same reason when we played the Tigers last night. And look what happened. It came through late for us. At plus 140 yesterday. We're going to be taking the Giants today at plus 180. Just hold your breath and take the plus money.
I did. I'm in. Giants up.
Again, I'm just give me my long balls, please.
We'll send you a postcard from the winner's circle, Lindy.
Oh, is that on the corner of go fuck yourself and get me off this show?
That's where it is, right there.
Yeah,
right
it's
on that
beautiful
corner.
place. Yeah, I love that. I'm very familiar with that one. Normally people on my shows.
Someone in the comments just called Lindy a party pooper. Because he would have bet the Giants.
Oh, I'm like that guy with the hat in the corner. Just doing the thing.
I'm not
Just
betting the
with
Giants. All right. Cleveland Dodgers. I have a TBD starting pitcher here.
Should be Landon Knack, I would assume.
Oh, Knack's back.
Yep. Knack attack.
So, what? Do we like Knack?
No.
We don't.
Liked
We
the
don't like
over yesterday, but we don't like it anymore. I don't know. It doesn't look as good to me. I don't have anything from this game anymore. If you got the over of 8.5 or 8 or whatever it was, let me find this because I have the ticket. Hold, please. It's being so slow.
Hold, please.
Just elevator music. Here we
What
are.
Toast? Do you like Knack?
No, it's
No.
just really. Again, he has decent numbers against lefties. So maybe he can pitch well here today because he's going to see 8 lefties in the lineup today. He's got a 257 WOBA, 0.93 WHIP, 423 xFIP against lefties. Against righties, 317, 107, 455. So slightly better against lefties. Nothing too crazy. So maybe that's a look. But at the same time, again, it's just not a spot I want to be in with the Dodgers coming home from a road trip. With Cleveland, with Matthew Boyd, who actually has been pitching pretty damn well for them. I mean, again, his road starts against the Yankees and Twins, teams that are I kind of think like the Dodgers, leading their division types. Not greatest starts in the world, but Cleveland also has a really, really good bullpen, which I don't really trust the Dodgers bullpen right now. So I actually lean Cleveland here. I'm not going to place it because I'm not going to bet against the Dodgers coming off an embarrassing loss against the Angels. But my numbers and everything leans Cleveland.
I was thinking Dodgers -1.5.
I know. That's why I didn't play Cleveland.
All right. How about we talk some NFL? You gentlemen want to stay and talk the Eagles?
Not particularly, although I do think Devonta Smith's going to have a huge year under Kellen Moore. I think Kellen Moore is a huge difference maker to guys who play out of the slot, and we're seeing Keenan Allen, CeeDee Lamb, some of the numbers they played and put up with Kellen Moore. I mean, it's just absurd. And Devonta Smith, I think his slot percentage is going to be the big thing I pay attention to the first couple of weeks. He went from around 10% slot percentage in his rookie season, 2021, up to around 30 and change percent, right around 30% in 2023. I think if we see a little bit of an increase, regardless of what the production is here early, I might be firing a lot of Devonta Smith alternate numbers, waiting for that big game, because Keenan Allen went ballistic last season underneath Kellen Moore, middle of the field, really what he calls plays for. And I'm very excited to see Devonta Smith. He's a pretty big stand for mine in best ball, pretty big stand, have him on pretty much every season long team. I think he has the potential to be like the smash guy out of like the second round this season.
Yeah, I'm a Kellen Moore guy. I'm a Kellen Moore apologist. I think he's very creative, and I was proven a little bit wrong because I said the Cowboys offense would fall off a little bit without him, and it didn't really. Mike McCarthy did a fine job without him, but yeah, I'm a Kellen Moore guy, so I agree with you.
Me too.
But all right, let's switch it over to the Eagles Packers. Lindy, good. Thanks for coming on, man. Talk soon.
Thanks, guys.
Oh,
talk soon, guys.
Make sure you guys give him a follow. Odd Shopper YouTube channel where he posts all his stuff. Also, the guest I had yesterday, Ben Rasa, he's with them. He's with Odd Shopper too. And also, you probably know Greg, who's also been on this show from Odd Shopper. So, yep, make sure you guys check them out.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, football.
I don't know what I can really add.
Oh, I mean, I don't care. You don't have to stay if you don't want.
I didn't want to just leave you hanging by yourself.
No, Prop Beaver's here. I got my guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, bring Prop. Everybody wants to hear what Prop Beaver says anyway. Have a good night, guys.
Prop Beaver says points. Let's
get the hell out of here. You goddamn disgrace.
Get off my damn screen, Toast.
Yeah, 1 second.
All right, we're going to get Prop Beaver on. We're talking about the NFL game.
Do I have a template for myself? I mean,
Yeah, 2 Beaver.
It's
called 2 Beaver.
Highly ideal.
If you don't, I have one I can put in the folder for you real quick.
Oh, no. Right here.
There we go. There you go. Let's go. All right. So take a second, get the poll up, get your notes ready, and we'll talk a brief intro here. So obviously, if you're not living under a rock, you know what we're talking about. It's Packers, Eagles. Eagles, it's now down. It looks like it dropped down to 2. It was mostly sitting at 2.5 the last couple of days. Now down to 2. Totals at 49.5. So real quick, I'll go through what my bet is, but also I'd like to do a poll for like a touchdown score or a prop or something as well, because there's only one game. So we'll do a touchdown score poll for or something like that. But first, Prop Beaver's getting the poll up. If you guys watch the video that I uploaded, you already know what I'm on. I'm on the over 49.5, and there's definitely some risk involved here. I feel on paper, in a football sense, that the over is the right move. I feel like we should see a lot of points. I especially expect to see a lot of big plays from the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts' yards per attempt skyrockets against man coverage, and the Packers ran a lot of zone coverage last year, but they bring in Jeff Hafley now. He was with Boston College last year. He ran the 10th most man coverage in the entire country at Boston College last year. So I expect to see some more man coverage from Green Bay defensively this year. And if you look at their roster, they got two nice corners. They got Stokes and Jair Alexander. So they're built to run some man coverage. So I'm expecting to see some more man coverage from the Packers this season. And the reason I like that for Philly is if you look at their big plays, the yards per attempt the last 2 years, significantly higher against man coverage. So like Lindy was mentioning, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, I expect to see some big plays through the air from Philadelphia against the Packers man coverage. Also could force some turnovers, though, as well. But either way, it results in points. Also, we could sit here and talk a lot of shit about Philadelphia, specifically on the defensive side. Not much you could say negatively. Not many holes you could poke in that offensive line. Even last year, on the Eagles' down year, still most advanced metrics have the Eagles as one of the best offensive lines in football. And they lost Jason Kelsey, but still, that's going to be a very good offensive line. The Packers' pass rush, I mean, is it going to be there? Is it not? If there was chunks of the season where they had no pass rush whatsoever, and there was chunks of a season where they were able to develop one, specifically towards the end of the season. But Jalen Hurts, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL in dealing with pressure. So I don't think the Packers are equipped to slow this Eagles offense down. And then on the other side, the Eagles defense, I mean, it was bottom 5 in the NFL, and the Packers had a resurgence offensively in the second half. So points. Post me up and over 49.5, please, Prop Beaver. I don't know if there's a graphic there. Oh, there is. Cool. Yeah, post me up and over. So that's what I'm on. Just, am I pumped that my first NFL bet of the season on the site is an over in a Brazil game? No, not at all. But that's the situation we're in. So I'm on an over here.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm the guy who coined the phrase points here. But yeah, I'm not quite as excited as I was when we recorded that first live stream. I guess the main reason for that is we are betting on a game here with 3 new coordinators, and it is in a different country. Obviously, I mean there are a lot of factors here that we do have to take into account, and it is betting. It is week 1. There are 14 other games on. I mean, we don't need to. I don't want to be the Debbie Downer. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be Mr. Responsible. We don't exactly need to force action here. But I mean, Kyle does bring. Kyle, don't make that face at me. Don't make that.
We don't have to do this.
Don't make that dirty skank ass face at me. No. But I do think that in any other spot, this is really a fantastic game. 4 points, because Kellen Moore, as I was saying the other time, he's the master of disguise. This is a fantastic spot for him to catch Hafley sleeping, because Hafley doesn't know what the hell to expect. Kellen Moore, a man who loves to use motion. Sirianni, the exact opposite. If you're a defensive coordinator, you have no clue what to expect from Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts was getting a bit predictable last year. Defenses were kind of baiting Jalen Hurts into what to do. And at the beginning of the season, when defenses were kind of baiting Jalen Hurts into taking those deep shots, it just wasn't working. The defenses were getting absolutely pieced up by Jalen Hurts on those deep shots. But at the end of the year, they were getting Jalen Hurts to make mistakes on those deep shots, and that's why the Eagles' offense was really starting to fall off. Now, though, if defenses don't know what the hell the Eagles are doing, and if we're starting to see more efficient runs, honestly, I thought the tush push was stupid last year. Let's get Jalen Hurts back to being an efficient runner like he was earlier in his career, and I think that's what we're going to see from Kellen Moore using the motion. So I just think that Hafley, while the Packers defense obviously will take a step up because it has to. Barry was horrible. I'm sorry. Holy Christ. The whole reactive defensive philosophy thing, that was terrible. I think the aggressive press coverage, man defense with a healthy Eric Stokes is going to lead to a better Packers defense. But in game 1, I think with some moving pieces, I think this is going to be really tough against a really talented Eagles offense that just added Saquon Barkley behind a top 2 offensive line in football, even with Jason Kelce gone.
Yeah.
That just really speaks to the talent of the Eagles offensive line and the fact that they groomed Cam Jurgens behind it. So, Cam Jurgens was one of the guards for them last year, and he wasn't great at guard, but Cam Jurgens' natural position is at center. So if you're looking at, if you're like an Eagles fan last year and you're like, if Jurgens wasn't good at guard, how's he going to be good at center? He's actually a better center. So I'd have hope for you guys. I really do like points here. And then as far as the Eagles go, I want to watch my words when talking bad about the Eagles. The Eagles fans in the comments get a little crazy. I'm not the biggest fan of the Eagles secondary. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't think the secondary's bad, bro. They're just young. The corners are young. The safeties are cool.
It's too inexperienced. And you may say the Packers wide receivers are inexperienced. Well, it doesn't matter if they're inexperienced because that man LaFleur knows how to draw the plays up. The motion rate that he was using in the back half of last year and getting Jaden Reed in space, oh my, it was incredible what they were doing. And if Jordan Love could just carry that momentum into this year, which is a big if. I mean, we brought up that stat from last year. Most of those offenses see a drop off. I think that we see an explosion here offensively. So, yeah, I'm leaning on points here, but we'll get to the underdog after you guys talk about the college
there's a couple
games,
props in the someone said that Chris Brady is in the comments saying he likes Jalen Hurts under rushing yards, which you don't like, right? The Packers have really struggled with athletic quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's one of my 2 underdog legs.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know the reason I pointed that comment out specifically is I know Prop Beaver likes Jalen Hurts over. The last time Jalen Hurts played the Packers, granted it was 2022, he had like 170 yards rushing, and the Packers were second. They were 31st in the NFL in rushing yards per carry allowed to quarterbacks and 30th in rushing yards allowed.
It's not like an issue last year too. This has been an issue now for 3 years for the Packers.
The Packers struggle with athletic quarterbacks.
Bottom 6 or worse in yards per carry and yards per game allowed to running backs on the ground. They've been getting ran over by any rushing quarterback they face. So I mean, Baker Mayfield was running all over them last year, so it was just getting really bad. But we'll see. Maybe Halfley has a different approach to things, but it's not like the Boston College defense was exactly some juggernaut last year.
No, it wasn't good. No. Jay Trinidad said, "What the fuck did you just say about the Eagles, Beaver? Go chew some wood." So John Bender says Darius Slay's experience, and they brought back CDJ, not a shit secondary. I'm with you. I don't think the secondary is that bad, but it's important to point out that if you take the Eagles corners, right, you have Darius Slay. After him, the next 2 are rookies, and the other one's, what's that guy's name?
2 are rookies, and then Keely Ringo.
Yeah, Ringo.
12.2 yards per reception last year in limited action.
The other one's other one's Ringo. So you have Darius Slay, and then the next 3 corners on the depth chart for the Eagles, 2 are rookies, and the other one's Ringo, who it's only his second year. He had a really rough rookie year last year, 12.2 yards per reception allowed. So you have Slay, and you got Gardner Johnson. Like I like the safeties. I Reed Blankenship played well last year too, but the corners, you guys have some young corners, and it's a weird matchup too because Green Bay's got they don't have a superstar wide receiver 1, but they have 4 receivers that could cook you.
Yeah. But I mean, Dontavian Wicks, the guy who's going to get the least reps on the team, I think is the most talented on the team, as many fantasy experts or whatever the hell do. I'm no fantasy experts, but fantasy experts that I listen to, they would agree. So yeah, but yeah, let's
do a touchdown score or something.
Oh well, I don't touchdown score. What do I look
like? Let's do a touchdown score poll or something.
What I was gonna say is we should give a side. I mean, you're Mr. Side. You like the Eagles, right?
Yeah, I like the Eagles to win the game.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess I didn't bet. I bet the over. That's what my money is on, and I posted that on the website too. So I am on the over. But if you ask me to pick a winner and pick a side, I'd probably take the Eagles money line. What can you get it at right now? Minus 130. Wow. Yeah. Oh no, that makes sense. My bad. I don't know what I was looking at. All right, so minus 130. I would take the Eagles money line if I was to bet a side. The reason is just playing the overreaction. The truth is, if this game was being played on a neutral site in week, let's say 9 of last season, Philly would probably be laying a full touchdown, maybe even 7.5, probably even more than that, maybe even closer to 10, honestly. And no question, we saw a complete turnaround with both teams. The Eagles' defense went to absolute shit, and the Packers' offense turned into a top 5 offense. Sure, we know what we saw, but if history of the NFL shows us anything, it's these dramatic shifts usually aren't permanent. Like you'll see some regression back to the mean. We know the Eagles are one of the best teams in the NFL, and we don't know if the Packers are. They showed us that they could potentially be, but I just think that there should be 3 or more. The number between these two teams. In fact, the Eagles, next to the 49ers, they are the best team in the NFC other than San Francisco. So I don't think the Green Bay's even the best team in their own division. So yeah, I like the Eagles to win the game. I especially like how there's a lot of people taking Green Bay here, and the Eagles are being slept on. I feel like all of last year, the Eagles were expected to win every single week, and they're like, this is our Super Bowl year. And I feel like some people are sleeping on Philadelphia, so that's a very spiteful city. Trust me, I know them well. I expect the Eagles to win, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't want to have to, but I do have to agree with you here. Do I necessarily trust the Eagles' defense? No, but I just think that offensively, they're just going to be too much to keep up with. I don't trust the Packers defense to just be cohesive enough yet to keep up. I'm a Kellen Moore fanboy through and through, and I saw what Kellen Moore did the first game of the season last year with what Vic Fangio was giving him defensively, and how he came into that game with the 31st rush offense and rush frequency. And he was like, listen, Fangio, you're going to give me that too high show? I'm going to rush it the entire game with these absolute scrubs, Josh Kelly and Austin Eckler. I'm going to take what you're giving me.
Eckler's not a scrub, bro.
Eckler is a scrub. But that's besides the point. And we're going to rush for 5.4 yards per carry. Well, I'll get into an argument with you all day about that. Austin Eckler's a scrub.
I don't love Eckler. He's not
Austin
bad.
Eckler's a fucking scrub. And we're going to average 5.4 yards per carry. And Kellen Moore, I think, in this one could just go absolutely ballistic with the offense. I think that they're going to take this Eagles offense with the talent they have to new heights. You bring Jahan Dotson in, a man who was failed to be unlocked in that absolute piece of shit franchise that they have in Washington. The sky's the limits for this Eagles offense, and I think that's what gets them the win and the cover here. So, yeah, Eagles -2.
All right. Let's do a touchdown score poll or something. Or maybe or do the underdog. Let's do the underdog. What's your underdog picking for today?
Okay.
Because we also have the 2 college games to go through as well.
Absolutely. Yes, we do. So let's go ahead and get...
You know you guys don't have to wear headphones. We're all in the same room.
Oh, well, it's a comfort thing. 1 second. All right, so for my underdog here, we got Jalen Hurts higher than 38.5 rushing yards, 150 plus the last time he faced the Packers. I mean, unless Jeff Hafley has the ultimate game plan, I just don't see how he's limiting them, especially with the with the misdirection that Kellen Moore is going to be having with the motion in the offense introduced. I think he's really going to have them on their back foot. And then on the other side, we got Josh Jacobs, over 62.5 rushing yards. Jedi Modi, eat a bag of shit, my brother. You have no clue what you're talking about. Josh Jacobs is not washed. He's coming tonight. He's going to show y'all what's up. He's going to have an improved offensive line. He had a full offseason to work. It's going to be looking good tonight. So take the over higher than 62.5 rushing yards there.
What's the free square?
The free square... Oh,
you don't
that
have it?
will be shown at the end of the show when we get to Andy's.
If you don't have an underdog fantasy account, it's available. And anyone on this... Okay, we don't have the map either. Oh, no, there it is. It's upside down. There's the map. If you don't have an underdog fantasy account, it's available in any state highlighted in this mirrored map. So if you're in one of those states, head over to underdog fantasy... Head over to Underdog Fantasy, the website, or download the app. When you make your account, make sure the promo code BET, B-E-T. It's up to $1,000 deposit bonus, 50% deposit bonus, up to $1,000. The code is BET. All right, SMU, BYU. Let's talk about it. Get Andy on the screen. Two FBS games tonight. We got this one, and then we got the Duke Northwestern game. So let's go ahead and get Andy on the screen and talk about SMU, BYU, which I haven't bet, but I kind of want to. SMU, BYU. Who's day drinking in here? Someone said. Night owl. Chill. You putting him in the stream? Oh, there he is.
Dark as hell. Cause
yeah, you got his. No, that's what
you got me on your regimen. It's possible my lighting's messed up because I'm wearing green. And a good amount of it.
Are you in the wrong folder? Oh, there you go. Hold on. Go up to the top and lower the top bar. That one. Just take the green screen off. Or there you go. That's fine. All right. Anyway, SMU BYU. Did last week restore your faith in SMU?
No. Basically, like you just handed out, I was incredibly high on this SMU team. And again, I don't want to overreact to the first 2 weeks of the season, but in week 1, I mean, they looked awful, right? The weather did screw them a little bit, but they looked awful overall. Brendan Lewis, who you and I both said when we did our Nevada preview, we were like, this guy stinks. He torched them. Like, he looked really, really good against this SMU team. And then last week they went up against Houston Christian, and they're still doing the same crap they did the first game. They were mixing and matching their quarterbacks. They have obviously the Preston Stone, who's got a gun for an arm, who can throw for 300 yards every game. He's a stud. And then they have a runner named last name Jennings. They bring him in.
It's 12 and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12 and a half.
Yeah, they bring Jennings in and they try to become a running team. So there's such a confusing offense for the way they're running their team this year. And Rhett Lashley is one of my favorite coaches, but this year he has been. It's been a mess in terms of, and I don't know how they're 2-0, but it's been a mess in terms of the way that they're running their offense. So I wanted to be all over SMU in this one, but it's just the way that they're running their team right now. I can't back this SMU team. And I also don't like BYU, but I think BYU's offense presents a lot of challenges.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think it's a decent matchup.
Yeah.
Put up BYU plus the points for me. And I didn't bet this yet. I bet the other game. But I don't really like this matchup for SMU. And look, you don't want to be guilty of overreacting to what you see in week 0 or week 1, right? SMU comes out because it wasn't just the fact that SMU laid an egg in their opener. It was also the fact that it was week 0 and everyone was watching that shit. Mm-hmm. Like the entire nation watched SMU shit the bed in that game. And yeah, they came back and won. I actually live bet them at +4 something. That was awesome. They came back and won the game against Nevada. But which, by the way, it's not even looking that bad anymore because Jeff Choate looks to have that fucking Nevada team.
They've done a good job so
far. That team saw a quicker turnaround. Whatever. But anyway, you don't want to overreact to what you saw in week 0 and week 1. But the truth is, the way this SMU team is built, the strength of the BYU's defense, their defensive front, good Lord, it was the worst in the conference last year, probably the worst in the conference again. It's rough up front. But that secondary should be good. They brought back 5 players that started games in the secondary for BYU. And their pass defense wasn't that bad last year. Their defensive line is a little rough. But remember, what did we say about SMU? The only spot about the SMU offense I'm questionable about is the offensive line. So is SMU even the perfect candidate to exploit BYU's weak defensive front? I don't think they are. SMU's high-powered run and gun. We thought they were going to be, at least with Preston Stone. Mm-hmm. We're seeing the other quarterback take a lot more snaps than we expected. Yeah. But SMU rips you apart on the outside. I don't know if BYU's the team to get ripped apart on the outside. They have a decent secondary. So I think BYU's defense isn't the worst matchup for SMU. I mean, no question, SMU's offense is more powerful than BYU's defense, but I don't hate the matchup for them, honestly. And on the other side of the ball, the reason I took SMU minus 24.5 in the first week against Nevada was Brendan Lewis, or the quarterback for Nevada. I was like, he can't really throw it. And I'm not worried about the passing game. Yep. Well, it's looking like BYU might have a passing attack. I didn't know who Retzlaff was entering the season. Yeah. Look, I'm not going to overreact to a game against Southern Illinois or whoever the hell they played.
It was Southern Illinois.
But it's looking like BYU wants to throw the ball, right?
Yeah, I don't want to overreact either because he didn't look necessarily great in his time last year. I think he had 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, didn't play much, but he obviously looked really good against Southern Illinois. And right now I think that this SMU offense could make any quarterback look good. And you'll see in the underdog that I did that I'm pretty high on Retzlaff having a good day today, because I think he's not necessarily a runner, but he had eight in quotations rushes for 16 yards. Got sacked a couple of times, so he lost yards based on the sacks. So he did have a decent running game against Southern Illinois, and we saw Brennan Lewis was running all over this SMU defense. So like, I think that's a part of the game that SMU is just going to have to live with this year. This defense is probably going to get run on by quarterbacks a little bit, and you don't have to worry about that. That opens up the passing game if you're worried about the quarterback running it himself or even the running back. So I think SMU from that case also is to deal with it. So I'd lean BYU as well. I don't necessarily know that I'm going to bet it, because I think I'm going to probably bet on the NFL game and the other game tonight. So I don't think I need to, but I would lean BYU here. There's too many challenges from this offense, and I wouldn't have thought that, because I didn't think this BYU team was going to be very good, but it's still a Big 12 team. So
yeah, I didn't bet it yet. It's at 12.5. If I can get a 13.5, I'm in. How about that? I don't really like it.
Maybe I bet a Retzlaff prop, because when I did the underdog, I kind of was like, oh, I think this is going to hit.
All right, next game, the other game. There's only one more. Duke Northwestern. You guys probably watched the video. I bet this game very beginning of the week. Northwestern money line. I got it at minus 118, but I think you could still get a minus 125 or like something somewhat close to that. If it's under 3, I guess I would still lean Northwestern, but just take the money line if I'm being honest, because this could be a low-scoring game. I think Northwestern's the much better team here. Duke, I think we're going to see Duke do this. The post-Elko Duke, I think it's going to get ugly. I talked about this entire game in the YouTube video, so I don't need to go through everything. But what I needed to see from Northwestern in their first game, I saw it. They were able to get the run game going, and that was a weakness of theirs last year. And they brought back some pieces on the offensive line, and they were able to run the ball, which is something I like to see. I don't think Duke's run defense is even going to come close to what we saw the last couple of years under Mike Elko and Tyler Santucci there. So I think Northwestern might be able to run the ball here. But really, what the main factor of what has me in on this Northwestern team was what they were able to do on the other side of the ball with their defensive front. Because Northwestern last year, they generated 0 pressure, and their defensive line just got outplayed in most of their games. Well, they brought back 7 of their top 8 defensive linemen from last year, and we didn't really know what to expect in that opener against Miami of Ohio, which is a really good MAC team. The defensive line was excellent, generating a pass rush, didn't allow shit. Gabbert was terrible. I mean, he couldn't get comfortable at all, and the reason that that's such an important factor in this game, Duke's got Malik Murphy, right, at quarterback, who's obviously a highly touted prospect. Maybe he probably has a bright future from everything I'm reading. But last week against Elon, Malik Murphy had a good game throwing the ball. He was only pressured 6 times the entire game. Elon wasn't putting pressure on him. And the 6 times he did get pressured, he was 1 for 6 with 6 yards passing. So he didn't look good when Elon was able to get pressure on him. And I think Northwestern's defensive front is going to win that battle all night. Do I trust Mike Wright to get the ball up and down the field on Duke's defense? Hit or miss, but it's at Northwestern, and I think I have the better team, and I think they'll win the game. So Northwestern money line. This says minus 2.5. I'm on the money line.
Yeah, I would also take the
that streaming thing.
I would also take the money line or the spread here with Northwestern. I actually didn't like them going into that Miami of Ohio game. If you remember, I picked Miami of Ohio money line, and I thought that was going to be a good one. And yeah, Brett Gabbert looked awful. I would say Malik Murphy's better, but maybe more talented. But I mean, he hasn't proven as much as Brett Gabbert. Brett Gabbert's been a really good quarterback in the MAC over the last year, especially last year. So that was a little surprising that Northwestern, a team that I had a reason for that pick, was Northwestern lost everything. And that team was not supposed to be that good last year anyway. So I thought this was a perfect spot where there was a team going in off a bowl win that they didn't even expect to win a bowl game. They didn't even expect to make a bowl game. They won a bowl game. I was like, oh, this is a great spot to take Miami of Ohio. They shut me up. They looked great. The whole team looked great. I give Mike Wright credit. Mike Wright credit. He didn't make the mistakes that he was making in Mississippi State. He didn't do anything overly impressive. He had 5.8 yards per attempt, but I mean, he didn't do anything to hurt the team either. And if he can bring them down the field and they're running for 120 yards between 2 guys, I mean, I think that this running game can just take it over. That's why I think that every Northwestern game could go under pretty much every one, as long as especially when their opponent's Duke. So I like the under in this game also. I think the reason I'm not going to bet the under is because everybody's betting the under, and I don't necessarily think
Can we get the poll for this?
it's only going down. So, yeah, I'd be on Northwestern too. I think their running game is really, really good. And Duke played Elon and didn't look overly impressive. Granted, they only gave up 3 points, but they didn't cover and they didn't really look impressive to me either. So I need a couple more games of Malik Murphy and Duke to really like them. They also lost their running back too. So
I'm a little worried about the reason that I don't like the under and that I feel more comfortable on Northwestern money line, Northwestern to win instead. I'm a little worried about quarterbacks turning the ball over in this game, and you get interceptions at the wrong time. It could be unfair points put up on the board quick that didn't belong there. Yeah. So obviously, as far as the flow of the game and in the way I expect it to go, it should be an under game. But throw a pick 6 in there and a strip sack on their own 12, and then all of a sudden that game's going over, even though it shouldn't. So I think turnovers could screw up a potential under here. That's why I felt more comfortable on the Northwestern money line. Yeah. But all right, want to do a community parlay? Hit them with the song.
Community parlay, the parlay we bet, yeah. Community parlay is for the community. We community, making a parlay, yeah.
All right.
Before we do that, let's do the underdog for the college football.
Yeah. Andy, share your underdog.
All right, so I want to be able to see it this time, so let's wait. I want to wait until it comes on TV. Actually, I have it. Never mind. So yeah, this is I correlated it with tonight's games. Obviously, we just talked about Malik Murphy, longest completion under 39.5 yards. I think that one's juiced. That one's a little too high. That they had a couple of those completions, but again, they were playing Elon. If they're going to beat Northwestern, they're going to have to keep everything in front. They're not going to beat them that far down the field. This is a Big Ten secondary, and this is a team that basically is going to stop anything downfield. So yeah, they're going to have to keep them, and they're going to have to keep them up front, run the ball. They're not throwing a 39.5 yard pass, 40 yards, whatever. And the other one's Jake Retlaff. I kind of hinted at it. I think he's going to be able to run. He ran it a little bit against Southern Illinois, obviously Southern Illinois, but we saw Nevada ran all over SMU. Houston Christian, they tried to, but again, that's Houston Christian. We saw Brendan Lewis run all over SMU defense. I think Retlaff can pick up right where he left off. So over 19.5 rushing yards.
All right. Oh, the free. It's upside down. Keep going it through.
What is it?
You're literally dragging it. The size of it, you're dragging it through the corner. I can't explain it to you. All right. So, yeah, let's do a community parlay.
Is Jalen Hurts over 5 rush yards or something?
All right. First is Brewers money line. Then Pirates money line. Then Orioles money line. Then Phillies money line. Cast your votes. Cast your votes. Tomorrow is college football show. 10 a.m. We'll be live 10 a.m. to kick off, going through. We have 24 games lined up, but there's 3 or 4 more I want to add, so it'll probably be more like 27, 28 games. For the morning, same thing as last week. It was a lot of fun. So if you're able to make it, love to see you there. Cast your vote. Oh, it's Brewers by a landslide. Go ahead and type Brewers on that. All right. Brewers are in. Next up, Red Sox money line. Mets money line. Braves money line. Rangers money line. Cast your votes. Cast your votes. Yeah, tomorrow should be a fun one. And then Sunday is the NFL show. We'll be live. I think we're going to just go 11 a.m. to 1. Why not, right? Originally, I was going to do have a prop hour before, but that's 3 hours on, and it's not like college football where there's 30 games. There's only 13
There's 13 games this
so
weekend.
We don't need to be on for 3 hours for that. We could do prop. 2 hours is enough to do 13 NFL games and do props for each game while you're doing it. I'll just be straight up. I don't have a prop for each game. Well, it's not just you, man. There's other people on the show. Toast has some bets. Toast has like 5 bets for the NFL posted. Also, just a bet outside. Steve's going to be on. Not just you.
Wow. Thinking it's all about him. I'm kidding. Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, Modai was going to come on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mets money line is in.
But ever since he said the thing about Josh Jacobs, we have to question his football knowledge. We really do.
I'm worried about Josh Jacobs too.
He scored 2 touchdowns tonight. 2 touchdowns.
I'm more on Modi's side of that debate than you guys. Royals money line. Was Astros money line in the last ball? It's Astros money line. Oh no, I'm sorry, Diamondbacks money line. They voted for the Diamondbacks in that game. Mariners money line.
Oh, we are missing a
Tigers
college
money
football
line.
games. Yeah, okay. All right. Western Illinois and Indiana. Yeah.
No, we don't do.
Can't say I looked at
we
that
don't
one,
do
I'm
FCS schools, Tanya. I'm not an FCS person. There's no data available. I don't even know what you use to handicap those games. There's no advanced metrics. There's no. If they're not in one of the 134 FBS teams, I don't even know what people are using to handicap these games.
Last year, Indiana played Indiana State, won by 7, so they don't have exactly a track record of good against FCS. So I didn't even look at that game.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to do it old school, read some beat writers, and I'm good. I don't know anything about those teams. All right, the Orioles money line's in, and then last poll up is Padres money line. It's Padres money line, Dodgers money line, and then put Phillies and Red Sox in as some second place. Quentin Crawford hired as the Sacramento Kings head coach.
I saw that.
Cast your votes. Let's get this community parlay.
Not the Sacramento Kings head coach. The Stockton Kings. Their G League team. The G League team of the Kings. Because Brown's been a very good coach for
It's
them.
Dodgers by a mile. Let me open up FanDuel and get you guys odds, and we'll get out of here. I also got the Cowboys-Browns video coming in about 15 minutes. Or no, more like 30 minutes, but that one's done. So let me just get the odds for this. We got Brewers money line. We got Mets money line.
They're parlaying Dean Kramer.
We got Orioles money line. Yeah, that is an insane pick.
Dean
And,
Kramer.
Wait, that's tomorrow's Orioles game.
What?
FanDuel doesn't have. I don't freaking. Can someone shout the odds out, please? FanDuel doesn't have the Orioles game. Oh, here's never mind, I got it. Plus 507.
There you go.
Thanks,
Plus
everyone, for watching.
507.
See you in the morning, 10 a.m. Going through we're going through about 27 college football games. Then we'll see you the following morning on Sunday, 11 a.m. to go through the entire NFL slate. First full weekend of football is here.